Everyone who has a YouTube account, just about, has made a video about the recent suicide of Robin Williams. People are starting to talk about depression, which I think is a major thing that we don't talk about nearly enough. I was 12 years old and I woke up in the morning. It was the summertime and I just felt sad. And I don't know why, because no tragedies had occurred. There was nothing on the outside of me that had been disturbed. Whatever was wrong was going on inside my own head. And I just remember feeling heavy. Like I felt like I had this pressure on me, as if someone was holding their foot on my chest and I couldn't move. And I remember going over to the window and looking outside and looking up at the sky. I didn't know what it was. I didn't talk to anybody about it. I didn't say anything because I just thought it was really weird and I didn't understand it. I remember later my next door neighbor came over to play and we were playing with Barbies. Before he left, he took all the Barbies and he put them in a basket and then he put them under the window and then he went home. I remember looking at the basket and thinking to myself, I can't touch any of these Barbies, because if I move them, it will erase his memory of coming over and playing with me. Because I just remember feeling so alone when he left. I didn't want him to go home. I didn't want to be by myself. And I didn't want to touch anything that he had touched, because if I did, then it would be as if he had never come over. That's such a ridiculous thing, but I remember feeling like that. And that's how I would feel for a long time. Later into my teens, when I'd have friends over and they'd touch things in my room and I wouldn't want to move the thing that they had touched because it would erase the fact that they came over, and I wanted to preserve a little piece of them. It was just really strange. After it had passed, like a week or two later, I felt better. I kind of just passed it off as just like some weird thing and that it probably wouldn't happen again. But it did happen again, and the second time it happened was like 2 years later, and I was watching a movie with my mom, and I just remember feeling this overwhelming feeling of sadness, and I didn't know why. I didn't understand it, and it started getting worse. Like the older I got, the worse it got, and I would not want to do anything. Things that I liked to do, I didn't want to do anymore. I didn't want to like be around people. Later when I started working, I was like depressed at work. I'd go to work and, you know, of course I worked in the service industry. And, you know, in the service industry, you have to be nice to people. You have to smile and be welcoming. And I didn't always want to smile and be welcoming. And not because I didn't want to, it was just because I felt like physically I couldn't. So my boss would always come over and say, you need to smile, you need to be happy, you need to get your energy up. And it's like, how am I supposed to do that when all I want to do is just go home and lay in bed and cry? And you know, I never talked to anyone about it. I never went to a doctor. I never got any help. It was just this thing that would happen, and some days it would be really terrible, and then other days it wouldn't be as bad, and then there'd be moments where I could forget about it, but then it would always come back later. And I just kind of learned to just live with it because I couldn't afford to get help, and at the same time I didn't want to go somewhere where they were just gonna pump me full of pills and antidepressants, because I don't want to take pills. I don't even like taking aspirin. I will say that, you know, a lot of things that have helped me was just surrounding myself with good people, giving up habits that were bad for me, journaling a lot, and just being able to just talk about it helps, because I really don't think the answer is in pills. So with that being said, I'm gonna go. Bye.